Thomasville, North Carolina. Entertainment talk radio at its best with Kaye Dee and Motormouth on Crucial Conversations on 103.1 WEOM FM.
You're listening to Thomasville, North Carolina's best gospel station, WEOM 103.1 FM. Hi guys, what's up? This is Kaye Dee.
And this is Motormouth. How y'all doing today?
You know why I'm laughing?
Why is
12 was happening. Guess what? We're still here.
Yeah.
We didn't get blowed up. The planet is still here.
You talking about 12/21/12?
Yeah. Did I say, what did I say, 12? I thought I said 12/12/12.
You did. You
it's
did say 12.
December the 12th, and you know, it's come and gone, and we're still here.
Yeah, well, the Mayan calendar was 12/21/12.
Okay.
Yeah, they did that thing to Sandy on 12/12/12.
Yeah, but all I'm saying, all these 12s, you know, I don't play the lottery. Maybe I should have. There's a lot of stuff going on in December. Wow. A lot going on. And, you know, we didn't even get a chance to follow up on what happened in Connecticut with Sandy Hook Elementary School. It was kind of deep. It was deeper than deep.
Well, you know.
It's deep.
I mean, there's many ways you can look at that, you know, because I find that, you know, the way I look at it is completely different from a lot of other people look at it. But, you know, I look at it as being a prediction that came true. You know,
based on what, Motormouth?
Batman movie.
The Batman
Yeah,
movie.
the Dark Knight. Because in there, you know, the flood, the Sandy was in the movie, and then the killing of the kids was also in the movie. But what was so ironic was that in Commissioner Gordon's office on the map, they had a target area circle. And it was called Sandy Hook.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And, you know, there's been a thing about magnetic science and what's going on with movies and the subliminals, the way they're working them now.
Yeah, but with movies, subliminal messages have always been done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the effect that they have now, you know, we can go on and name quite a few movies that have come out, and then afterwards we have the real thing happening in real life, you know, going on, and it's one of the things.
So you saying life is imitating art based on the Batman movie?
Batman movie and quite a few more. You know, the Killer Game. What was that game? The Hunter Game. The other movie that came out during the summer or early spring. You know, they got a lot of things going on, and they connecting it to what's ironic too, to mental illness of people to carry on these, what they call those when they see something and they, not a copycat, but they bring it out into real life. Yeah, you know, there's quite a few things
life
going on.
Imitating art.
Yeah, if that's what you call it. I'm not for sure of the name of it. But, you know, more things I think will come out about it, you know, as things going on, because everybody's still dealing with the tragedy that went down. And as they start, you know, producing the cause and effects, and they kind of doing it already, saying video games, this, that, and that, you know, causing this of all the violence and the blood that people seeing. So it's already in going down that direction.
Yeah, but you know, just my opinion, I think people speculating, because if you think way back, ever since entertainment has evolved to what it is now, people have always blamed the violence in the country on, well, let's keep it real. They blamed it on rock and roll music when it first came out. They blamed it on television when it first came out. It's always, you know, hip hop music, rap music. So I don't know. I don't have the answer to it, and I'm a believer that what we spend a lot of time on and focus on, and that includes kids and teens and young adults that play video games based on violence all the time, becomes part of your world on a different level. But reality is there are more people that play violent video games, and there are more people that see movies with violence in it. And forget the movies, look at regular TV right now. There's more violence, as far as I'm concerned, on regular TV than there's ever been in history. Things, you know, that used to be a no-no on a different level is now commonplace.
Yeah.
Words,
exactly.
Situations, stereotypes, everything is commonplace now, and it's all taken up a notch because regular mainstream TV is competing with cable and the internet and all the other new areas that are coming up in media, as far as media is concerned. But the question is, can you honestly say that because something is put in a movie or someone plays a game or someone sees a violent episode, that it is a direct cause as far as a correlation
Well, I think they got enough
to a violent incident that's actually occurred.
I mean, I think they got enough research out now to classify and define that they can relate it to it. I mean, it's just like how even the prison system is larger now and everything, because the society have changed, what is accustomed to looking at until it have gone to, violence. Wholesome television is not there no more, unless you're looking at what is it, general public television?
GPV?
Yeah, GP.
Georgia Public Television.
Yeah, or broadcast public television or something like that, where they have still held up certain values, that they're going to allow to be played on that airway.
Yeah.
So I just think, as society move along, and I think we all can witness, just the ideals of certain things changing in our society, that it had changed the norm.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, Mona. I sure don't have the answer, but reality is our country was founded on violence. It's been a part of violence for so long until it's hard to pinpoint like which segment and which generation has, done more damage, for lack of a better word. This one is we're definitely in the violent culture. But our foundings are on violence. Everything you can think about as far as forming this country as a nation has been through violence. Divide and conquer. It's always been about violence. So maybe, rather than blaming one industry or another, maybe we need to take a big look at the whole picture as far as what's going on as a nation. Everything.
Well, everybody don't get everything.
Violence,
well, most people get their stuff now from the media, one way or another. Their information, since it's been so readily advanced that it have spread it, not only this country, but the nation, the world, I should say, in such a way that the other things that used to be of community interest and everything is no longer interest to the majority. So, as I say, there's certain things I agree with what you're saying, but it's just again, trying to come up with a master plan
I don't have the answer,
to address it.
I guess I'm just saying, if you look at the amount and the percentage of people that actually play violent video games or look at violent movies or listen to violent music on a regular basis continuously that never really go out and do any harm to anybody, and then you look at the segment and the percentage of people that go out and actually do violent crimes, and it's not a direct correlation is what I'm saying. There are more people that partake in violent situations that don't do harm than people that partake in violent situations and do harm.
Well, I don't know. I just look at it. And all of it is, to me, is just a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, but
you don't know when they're going to snap from looking at that, because magnetically, I mean, it just tuned the mental television to a whole different demeanor. Just looking at that,
So would you not want to think about the fact that maybe if you bring another variable into it, because I don't think that people sit down and look at a violent movie and all of a sudden just snap, go out and kill people.
It don't necessarily have to be like that. It could be years later that scenario run back through their head under a certain situation, and they hit that frequency, and then they just snap. I think everybody is just snapping, That's the reason why we look at it and say, is the world going crazy?
But going back to my other question, you don't think that it has to be other things in line to reinforce the violence that they
I'm not saying that at all. That's the reason I said, from the beginning, mental illness, that's the reason I put that there, because who's to say who is mental ill when they haven't been checked out? We don't know. Yeah. All we know is these people snapping and doing unculture-like things or, unnature-like things and taking someone else's life. And, that's all, doing things that is completely different from the norm,
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
So I'm like you. I don't have the answer, to it neither, but I realize it's going on. And I don't want to be a victim of that, not that way.
Yeah, because violence is a problem. Like I say, reality is our country was founded on violence. It grew on violence. It expanded on violence. Violence is just as normal as the apple pie and the hot dogs at the baseball stand. It really is. What's more interesting to me, the National Rifle Association, the NRA, they want to take it up a notch.
Well, I don't even think I really don't think they even want to take up a notch, because
but they do.
because I kind of agree with them. the guys get guns to the good guys, and everything, because the president, he got bodyguards. Everybody of some significance have bodyguards, okay, and they carry weapons. And our children are just as precious to ward them off from the same people that we worrying about killing the president or somebody else.
Yeah.
But I just think the way they presented it was kind of crazy.
I'm not even getting down to how they presented it. I'm looking into what they want done based on what I think I understand. Let me finish first. Based on, so I can ask the question, what I think they want done is they want all the teachers to walk around with guns. Okay, that's it in a nice, neat summary, right? They want the teachers and the principals at the school to be armed. Am I correct?
I agree with them.
And they want, let me finish, and they want armed guards on the premises. Am I correct?
Yeah, even retires.
Now, don't get me wrong, Baltimore. I'm not saying whether it's the right thing or wrong thing. All I'm saying is this. The whole world is getting way out of whack. 'Cause let's keep it real. Okay, so now, if we go back to who everybody has come up, come to the podium and they did a little thing about who they want to carry weapons and who they don't. All right, let's backtrack. Because of the situations that happen at the airports now, not only is TSA taking things up a notch, now they have people, I cannot think of the term that they call them when you get the job and all you do is you fly all day long. What is it,
the air marshals?
Yeah, the air marshals on a whole different level. So now we got air marshals on the plane that can carry pilots. Carry.
I thought they always carry guns. The air marshals.
Taking it up. They took it up a notch ever since the heightened security. They taking it up a whole lot.
I always thought they had weapons.
So now that we had the pilots that they want to have weapons, and we got the air marshals on the planes they want to have weapons. Now we got people that having a fit. They want the preachers in the pulpit to have weapons. They want the people congregation to carry weapons up in the church. Just sit there and listen to a sermon, okay? So we got the teachers, the people in the airport, the people in the church, the people in the school, and then recently people, because of the situation of violence that was going on certain colleges, they want to have a proposal.
Oh, that's why I agree with there.
Well, they want the college students to have guns.
Okay, but
my question,
let me just get a word in. I understand some of your question, but
what is my question? Okay,
I wanted to go back to the idea of the colleges. The colleges was coming up with that idea before the National Rifle Association came up with anything.
Okay, and
I'm thinking about Georgia Tech,
Yeah. Because they robbed those kids down there on a ridiculous, is stupid. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I am really tired of people being robbed and mugged at Georgia Tech. It is ridiculous.
Well, I wasn't trying to be rude or anything about your question, but you were going on with such a long thing of questions. Let me answer one while I could think of something on my mind.
And have you not gone on for a long time yourself? What about?
I'm just saying, on that gun control thing, I just think that the bottom line is, they need to figure out a way to mentally check and see who is stable to, to carry weapons and stop, the criminals from obtaining weapons. If through these gun shows and different things like that they've been buying weapons, because along this country been in existence, people been carrying weapons.
Yeah, and I'm going back to what I was trying to say a few minutes ago was this. I don't have the answer, but I don't think the answer is for everybody under the sun in the United States to be walking around with a gun. If everybody's gonna be packing a gun, it's gonna be stupid, and that's just my opinion. It's already bad enough. Let me finish about. But I just don't think, and maybe I am totally naive and in la-la land, I don't know. But I just don't think that it's going to solve a problem for everybody in every capacity, in the house, outside the house. I don't care what part of the community you go and get involved with. Everybody's going to have a gun. I just think it's crazy. It's not going to solve anything, just my opinion. And I also honestly believe that I don't care what they say we can legally carry or not carry. It's always going to be people that's going to have guns. Always.
Okay, but just
so if they put down new rules and regulations, am I supposed to honestly believe that all of a sudden none of the bad guys are going to have guns? They're going to always have guns.
But the example is, though, with them putting down rules and regulation is eliminating the idea of certain guns being in certain people's hands, because before they started doing any type of regulation, anybody could get a gun. So you have more people packing guns back in the old days before they put rules and regulation in, because anybody could go into a pawn shop store. You could go into your Walmart, Kmart, whatever, in the sporting goods and buy that gun, and there was no question about it. So at least now they're getting to the point where they got questioning and trying to put up some type of protocols and buying the guns. So I think now you got less people packing guns than it was before.
You think there's less people packing guns?
Because you got more rules and regulations in place when you didn't have none in place before.
I hear you, Motormouth. All I'm saying, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And if you look at what's really going on, I think there's more people that's packing because, just my opinion, Motormouth, because when the NRA, when they came out and they claimed that they were going to break down these rules and regulations, what do you think people did?
They went out and started buying guns.
Thank you. In line for hours, up mad when Dick's Sporting Goods shut it down and said it was
a lot of those people who were buying guns already had guns. A lot of them already had guns.
But you're saying that there's going to be less people that are going to have guns.
No, what I'm trying to say, before they put those things, that'll be a good thing to find out, the statistics.
I don't believe that there's less people with weapons right now. I just don't believe that.
Because there's less people because, what I'm trying to say, more people probably, as the population go and everything. But when you didn't have no type of rules or regulation on buying a gun, anybody could buy a gun at the moment of a thought. I want a gun.
And they still can. Okay. That's the problem.
No, they can't. There's certain areas they cannot go in to buy guns.
Maybe we should clarify what we're talking about.
Like when the Brady bill came into effect, it stopped people from buying guns. Now, the only major loophole they're saying they got right now still for people buying guns is those who go into the gun show.
So we're talking about buying guns the legal way, right? Let's keep it real, I'm talking about guns overall.
Okay, I'm just talking about the legal way it came in.
There's more than one way to purchase a gun in America, and that's the problem.
But what I'm saying is that when you mention about people going to Dick's Sporting Goods and all that, buying guns,
they were trying to stock up.
But they buying it the legal way.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. They buying it the legal way. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So, therefore, I'm talking about before they put any type of rules or regulations in place, anybody could buy a gun. I think they started trying to do it when Reagan got shot. Started thinking about, we need to do that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Now, don't get me wrong. Rules and regulations do have a point or, have an effect, I believe. And it has an effect on people that are going to try to buy guns and do things the right way. I'm agreeing with you on that 100%. But all I'm trying to say is regardless of how many rules and regulations come out in this country about guns, I think and I believe that there's so many people in this country that are afraid to not be armed and packed until it's always gonna be a market for guns, whether they're purchased legally or illegally, regardless. People are gonna always have guns in the United States.
Yeah.
And I don't think that because the NRA wants to come out and especially if they say, think about it, especially if they get it closed, approved or whatever the process has to be, where everybody walking around can pack a gun.
Well, it's not even the NRA, really, the situation. The situation is what the president would do. The Rifle Association wants everybody to be able to pack.
They do.
Okay, it's the government that coming down
and unfortunately, the NRA has a serious influence on government. It's a large lobby organization.
For people to have the right to have guns.
They got power.
That's for them to have the rights to have guns. The
right to bear arms.
Right, that's them.
They believe it's based on our constitutional right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Before they put anything, they came in and stepped in and stopped the government from just trying to rambo the whole thing of regulation. Because before they even got established and all this stuff came about, anybody could go in any store and buy a gun.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sure it brought a little order to it. Don't get me wrong.
And what I'm saying, don't have nothing about no opinion from me or any of my thoughts or anything. It's just looking back over the past as where we going from now. Now, I tell you one thing that I do know, anytime that the government and the Rifle Association get up and bring up an issue about guns and everything, and the selling the gun, all I can say, I wish I had stock, because when they started doing that selling, all that stuff is just rising, because weaponry, always may have been a good money maker.
What are you trying to say over there,
So I mean,
what are you trying to say?
I mean, just think if you had some stock right now in some of those companies.
What, Smith and Wesson?
All of them. Imagine how you'd be sitting right now.
Some stock in some military arsenals. Right. What I want some stock in.
I mean, that's a good way of bringing cash in, other than on the battlefield. I mean, because both of them shooting ammo, So all I can say is that, I mean, I just look at it. I don't take, neither way or how something should be. I just say everybody should protect themselves. Either is with knives, bow and arrows, or guns. One of the two ways. You need to protect yourself. You mean
like a crossbow?
Yeah, that's
a bow and arrow.
A bow and arrow, a crossbow. It's all the same. It's shooting the arrow.
I'm thinking like the bow and arrow kind of thing.
But hey, you might have to do that too. Because they got just as good as projectiles on them than some of the other things.
But all of that,
Barnell's a lot more quieter.
I just think it's just interesting when you look at the amount of weapons that are actually in the United States, regardless of where they've come from, regardless of who's purchased them. And when you look at other countries that don't have the amount of ammunition in their land, in their country like we do, and the amount of people that die from gunshots on a yearly basis, it's like night and day.
Yeah,
we are the most violent country. And then it's interesting, like you go back to movies and everything. It's interesting when you look at the distribution and how our movies are distributed in other countries. We have gotten so violent as a nation in the United States until some of the foreign countries that used to grab our movies.
Exactly.
Grab them, especially the action adventure ones.
Well, some of them banned them.
Have gotten to the point where they don't want them anymore. I mean, really,
right.
Because we're corrupting their system.
So there go back again what we talked about earlier, the effect that movies and stuff have on people.
I never said I disagree.
No. I'm just trying to say I'm going back. I'm not saying you agree with me or disagree with me. I'm just bringing back a point that we made earlier in the show, how it have an effect on it, and then we allow our children, and then we sit back and wonder why our kids go off and rampage, and because so far pretty much it's been young people been going into the schools and shooting up their fellow students,
We've had some,
We've
had some grown folks doing some craziness
a couple,
too.
Yeah. Because this last one,
remember the DC sniper? Remember the DC sniper? Lord have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that wasn't a hot mess.
Yeah, that was a culture shock.
I'm like, what? Is that a brother?
The FBI,
what?
CIA, all of them were looking for the wrong type.
I'm like, oh my goodness, a brother up there. What? Sniper?
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was really crazy.
But I tell you what, I think, to me, other than the school thing, but the man setting his house on fire, they're going to shoot the firemen as they come to put out the fire. That was really, really...
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that. But, as far as violence, the whole situation's been extremely violent this whole year, I think.
Yeah.
And, not to try to play on words again, but if you think about, like people were talking about a changing of the earth and a changing of the calendar, a changing of, like, a lot of people honestly believe we're going to be dead after 12/12/12. And you know what? I'm sitting here thinking about what is the significance in the name Sandy? Because don't you think it's kind of odd, or maybe I just have a crazy way of thinking about things, that the word Sandy was in this huge hurricane that came through and did a big swoop in an area where it's not the norm for them to have that type of weather. And then a couple weeks later, we end up in a situation where innocent children are gunned down and shot at Sandy Elementary School. Here's the word Sandy again. I mean, it's just a strange time, I think, overall in the country. And then it's kind of odd to me also. Okay, I know Mona looking at me like, okay, she tripping. Even the town, Newtown, is there any, maybe it's ironic that the whole thing was called Newtown, Connecticut. So is this some kind of hint as a people we're supposed to get? Is it a new era? Are we just too dumb to pick up on what we should have learned up to this point?
All I can say, people need to go and see Batman, wherever, The Dark Rise again, or whatever it is. And
I know what movie you're talking about.
Yeah, that.
If you could stay
Hunger Games was the other movie.
I have not seen the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I haven't either. But just looking at the certain thing, because in the Hunger Game, the children were sacrificed. Mm-hmm. And that's where they kind of throw into with this thing with Sandy. Mm-hmm. Of the kids being sacrificed like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, but there's just so much going on, that through
Yeah, but the kids
airways.
in Sandy weren't sacrificed, in my opinion. They were just straight up murdered.
Yeah, but I mean, you got,
Are we looking at?
I'm just saying the way they got certain things going on, and then even if you Google it on the net now, you'd be surprised at how many people stitching certain things together the way I'm speaking about it.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just not familiar with that concept.
I'm not saying that you're disagreeing or anything. I was just saying you'd be surprised because I was surprised, and looking at it and everything. That the way, people looking at the magnetic, the subliminals, and what's really going on.
Which is kind of what I think I was trying to adhere to when I was talking about. It's just interesting that a hurricane, the word Sandy keeps coming up, and then, in Newtown, it's just kind of interesting to me.
Yeah,
That's
for those, because the average person is not into science. Especially dealing with the magnetic frequency. They are not, they're too busy being a consumer. And that's one of the problems, I think, within the United States, that we have become the world #1 consumers. And we allow them to market anything. What's your favorite saying about the Chinese, not trying to get stereotyped, but hey, we do this, the American buy it. They don't care if it lasts for a second.
Well.
Yeah, not saying that they don't
I look
produce
at it, that's our
thing.
fault. That's our fault. We don't have to buy it.
Yeah, but all I'm just trying to say as consumers.
Yeah, and if we were that doggone upset about it, it would be a major uprising. And we shut the borders down where we wouldn't be buying anything unless it was made in the United States.
Right.
Okay?
That's very true.
And there's nothing wrong with exchange and and trade. But when you got so much coming in, but yet nobody's buying your product, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And we look up and look at the situation we're in now.
But even to the point of if you're gonna allow non-quality items
merchandise,
come in, merchandise. There's
we become a disposable society, so why not go down with disposable merchandise?
That go back to the same people about this cliff that we coming to. The people that you elect.
Oh, I'm so sick of them, this fiscal cliff mess.
Yeah, that you elect.
Did we elect grown folks? Aren't these grown men up in here? Grown men that want us to sit back and sacrifice. Isn't that what they? It's gonna be a hard thing. We're gonna have to sacrifice. We're gonna have to judge. Okay, why can't they get together and sacrifice their own personal beliefs and come to a conclusion?
Let's just say the people that we elect nowadays, because they both male and females.
Okay, the people.
And then you got different people that get certain status.
Grown men and grown women.
Okay, but I'm just trying to say you got certain people that get to certain status, and it seems like it's more of an ego situation than trying to work among the elected to find a solution. Because with what's going on with right now between the White House and the House or the Senate, it just don't make no sense, and it's more or less than, to me, egos.
Everybody tripping.
Yeah.
But to me, they just remind me of little kids.
Yeah.
Hell, he's got more than I got, and he wants. It's just stupid to me. And these are people that's supposed to be running the country. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? They can't come up with a compromise?
But see, you're making a mistake here.
It's crazy to me.
They're not supposed to be running the country.
Well.
They are running the country. Okay, I understand what you mean by suppose, but they actually are affecting everyone's life.
They don't act like it. They don't act like
and they don't care.
They don't act like they're running the country.
Here you get somebody elected.
So I go back to what I said before. Aren't they supposed to be running the country? I stand corrected.
Well,
what
they
are.
I mean, as far as we know,
they don't act like it.
As far as we know, it could be a game that they playing.
It could be.
That they go ahead and get the height that they want when they don't go through. And they get the income that they're looking for, then they could come back and come up with a solution a week or two later.
I'm not disagreeing on you at all. With you at all on that.
I'm not trying to say you are.
Everything happens for a reason, Mona Mouth. That's my opinion.
I'm just saying.
And they could be doing something to make us believe exactly what it is that they want us to believe, so they could turn around and do what they want to do from the get-go anyway.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're saying, but that's what I believe. I don't even know what you're saying, but that's what I think.
That's the reason why I said they could come back 2 weeks later after.
Do whatever they want to do. Play around with us.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't really know.
Well, we need to take a quick break, and we'll be back after this.
I'm Kaye Dee.
I'm Motormouth.
On WEOM
103.1
FM.
Thomasville,
North Carolina.
live and in full effect. This is Black Leaf Online with Kaye Dee and Motormouth. Peace.
I'm Kaye Dee.
And I'm Motormouth.
Thomasville,
On
North
Crucial
Carolina's
Conversations.
best gospel station, WEOM 103.1 FM.
Hi guys, this is Kaye Dee, and we're back.
Yeah, welcome back. This is Motormouth here. How y'all doing there?
I'm
You know,
sorry.
I'm so hyped up about this Fiscal cliff. But now, I got to get Kaye Dee's opinion about the milk cliff, okay? What's going to happen to the milk?
Okay, Motormouth.
Okay.
No more coffee for you. No
What
more.
is going to happen to this milk? Now, while we're going on the word about the Fiscal cliff, I woke up the other morning, heard them tell me that a gallon of milk could be $8 or something.
Well, I drink almond milk, so it don't freak me out that much. But you know what? They wrong for that. Who
Yeah.
wants to pay $8 for some milk?
Yeah.
$8?
Mm-hmm.
What are people gonna do with their cereal? $8?
Yes, ma'am.
But the thing about it is they're saying that if they don't come to an agreement with the Fiscal cliff, it's gonna be a big thing. It's something to do with the Farm Bill.
Exactly. I think it was 1949 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember the
Farm
date.
Act or Farm Bill
I just
or
know it's the
something.
Farm Act or the Farm Bill, and it's tied up
Yeah.
into the Fiscal cliff mess. We explained this very well today. And if they don't come to some kind of conclusion, not only are taxes going to go up, but milk, like you said, is going to go up to about $8 a gallon, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that, in early spring or mid-spring, the other part is going to kick in with the Farm Bill. So corn is supposed to go up. I think it's corn, wheat, milk. All that stuff is going to be affected. And you know what, Motormouth, going back to food a little bit, maybe that's why the people were saying something about in 2013 it's going to be a huge
Shortage.
pork shortage, remember?
Yeah. Well, I also know from the drought that we had
Yeah,
this
from the
year
drought, yeah.
that corn was and certain grains were going to go up anyway.
And you know what else I'm thinking
'Cause of
about?
feed and all
What's
that.
tied up with corn? Fuel.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, all we need is for some gas prices to go up. Oh, my God, again. As a result of the Fiscal cliff. They better come to a compromise. I'm not paying over $5 for a gallon of gas. I'm already pissed at $3. What is it, $3.69 for premium on average around here? $3.69, $3 something.
Well, they got it
you
down
know.
about $3.39.
It's
the
still
lowest,
three-
but
it's
it's
still too
still
high.
too high.
Still too high.
And I think they only did that because they wanted to get more money for Christmas, and they already knew the Christmas market was going to be
Probably.
bad. The same with Thanksgiving, you know. You know, because most of these turkeys and everything are genetically modified anyway. They're not coming from the local farmers.
But the thing about
You
it
know,
was,
so-
you know, a lot of the retailers were saying they were a little disappointed with the actual stats that they got from the Christmas holiday sales. Weren't what they wanted them to be.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was the biggest mistake because you had the country divided. And only the crazy ones, like you said, wanted that super big deal to think they were going to have it, was going to cause it to be.
Well, people have just gotten used to super deals. That's
Yeah.
the reality. You've
Well-
kind of like, you know, you teach people how to treat you, so I believe. And you trying to teach consumers how to get the best price. And let's keep it real, we're in a recession. So, yeah, they're going to do what they have to do to
Yeah.
get the best price based on the game that you played with them before.
But yeah, but I think with the game that they played the game wrong because it was just, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they just went into the good old American pie and messed up. I mean, because everybody is used to sitting around the table at Thanksgiving enjoying their families and friends.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just so many people that was up against going in there early on Thanksgiving evening
Mm-hmm.
or day that I think that kind of broke the bond between a lot of things, even though you might have people in line. But I think a lot of people just felt like they just gone overboard with their greed and couldn't wait until Friday.
Hmm.
You know,
Probably
that
so.
Friday morning, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe 4 o'clock would have been even early enough. But when you start opening your store at 6:30 or 6 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day,
But guess what? The diehards were there. They were there. That's all I can say.
but they were there, but
Not only were they there, there were people parked in Best Buy, remember, that were there for a week before the door opened.
Yeah, but still, even at that,
What now?
oh, I thought you were trying to tell me something. But
Yeah, I was going to tell you, you're making me hungry. Motormouth was in here munching food and not sharing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
But like I said, I don't know. It's just that like with the economy being bad and certain things, I guess it just wasn't enough money go around for them to have a happy Christmas season where they were satisfied.
Well, I guess they didn't get the season that they wanted financially. The retailers didn't. That's the problem. They want that end of the year sales boost. That's what they were looking for, and they just didn't get it. And reality is, can you really blame consumers when you look at what's going on? I mean, we're still in a recession. Even though the gas prices went down, they didn't go down to like what they used to be in a normal range. I don't care what anybody says, the job market is still not like it should be. Even though they came out and said that the job market had improved, I think it improved because a lot of people are hired for retail sales for the holiday only, which goes back to being called temporary jobs, not real jobs. I mean, and then on top of all that, we have our leaders, ladies and gentlemen up in Washington, that were, walking around talking about we're going to fall off the fiscal cliff. So, yeah, people are only going to go out and do, shopping to a certain extent, so.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And maybe they'll get the fiscal cliff stuff situated. Maybe they'll get it in track and get some kind of resolution before we all fall off the cliff. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
They only have a few hours left.
I personally don't think they care. I know I sound so pessimistic, and I'm normally not like this, but I just honestly feel like they're playing a mind game with us, and I'm just tired of the feeling like you're being jerked around, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, you already see the mind game when they tell you the taxation that's going to occur if they don't get it.
And
now, if they already having a problem getting money, why not let it go so you can get another $2,100 per family?
Because I honestly think that regardless of whether they come to some agreement with the fiscal cliff or not, everybody's going to end up paying more taxes in 2013. Bottom line, as you like to say. That's just my honest belief. We're going to all pay more taxes. Exactly. And I think that, the price of goods and services are going to go up. So, just my unprofessional opinion, what I think is going to happen. Fiscal cliff, decided or not, it's going to be a price to pay. Because look at all the bailouts that we've done within the past year. Somebody's got to pay for that. Somebody's got to pay for Obamacare. Somebody's got to pay for all these programs that have gone on, for the past. Somebody's got to pay one way or the other, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe it's just time for us to start paying back. I don't know. What's your response, Mo? I don't know.
Well, I don't know about us because I didn't get none of that money.
I ain't getting none either. But I'm just saying.
I think they need to get those people that they gave that money to.
Somebody's got to pay.
And get them a pay back. That is my bottom line opinion. They need to pay back that money they got. Yes, ma'am. Especially the banking industry. And everything, because they only made things more tighter.
The banking industry, the mortgage industry, the car industry, a lot of industries have benefited.
Most of the car industry, if I'm correct, they don't pay back their money.
Yeah, I think GM has. I'm not really
Ford
sure.
and all them. But I have never heard, I'm trying to think real hard if I heard any of the banks or mortgage institution paying back their money.
I'm not sure.
And then they claim their housing is up.
So they say.
And when you look around, you try to figure out, because I don't see nothing developing around me. All the neighborhoods that have stopped building is still dead. It'd be nice because they need to cut down some of the weeds. You can't even see what's coming around the corner at you.
Well, how about we take a quick station break, Motormouth? We'll come back and wrap up the show for today. We'll be back in a moment.
Okay.
You're listening to Kaye Dee and the Motor Mouth Show on 103.1 FM, WEOM, Thomasville, North Carolina. Thomasville, North Carolina. Entertainment talk radio at its best with Kaye Dee and Motor Mouth on Crucial Conversations on 103.1 WEOM FM.
Join the fun on the Kaye Dee and Motor Mouth radio show on RadioDNANetwork.com and WEOM 103.1 FM, Thomasville, North Carolina. The Kaye Dee and Motor Mouth radio show on top of the world on WEOM 103.1 FM.
Hi guys, this is Kaye Dee. We're back talking about the fiscal cliff.
Yes.
I think we're going to all fall off of it, though. It's not going to matter. We're going to fall. I guess the question is, it's one thing to fall, but can you get up? And if you get up, in what condition are you going to be in when you get up is the question. But I'm with Monomoth. I honestly think we're going to end up paying more taxes, whether they come to an agreement or not, about the fiscal cliff. Just my opinion. Unprofessional,
Yes.
although it may be.
I mean, to me, it's a good way to raise the money that you need, you know? I
Raising
mean,
money.
yeah. I mean, if you can get everybody to pay 2,100, you know, and they didn't say how long it would last, if anything, revert back after they do come up with the budget.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know,
That's a good point.
if they go over the
It
cliff.
could be permanent. Who knows?
Right. You know, we don't know. You know, they haven't said anything, you know, about it. All the other stuff that come into play, you know, with the dairy, you know, as far as the milk and the grain and the feed, as you say, as we come into the spring, how much of an increase of goods, you know, cost of goods is going to cost us? Because they're going to go up. I mean,
they are.
Yeah, because there's nothing more than the drought that they just been talking about. And I got a chance to see some of that drought this year in Kentucky, and it was unreal. I've never seen corn crops only about 24 inches to 18 inches high when they should have been up around about 6, 7, 8 feet.
Yeah, well, the reality is we're going to have to pay for the drought and everything else one way or the other. And all the programs, I think, that have been, what's the word I'm looking for, Motormouth, approved or from the House and the Senate since everything's been going on for the past year or so.
So tell me more, Kaye Dee, what else out there stood out to you in the year of 2012?
I guess more than anything, you know, going back to violence again, not that I want to be stuck on violence, who does, but it just seems to be so commonplace. I have to go back to everything that was an extreme violent incident that affected children for some reason. You know, it's one thing for adults to be under siege, for lack of a better word, but it just seems like, I don't know. It seems like every time you turn around, there are more young people being killed. Not just the children at Sandy Hook Elementary in Newtown, Connecticut, but maybe I'm thinking about it Metro Atlanta overall. It just seems to be more violence where teenagers are dead. It's ridiculous to me. And of course, the Trayvon Martin story. You know, I don't want to get back with that again, but that was a biggie. And you know, it brought to the attention to the world, pretty much, a law that probably needs to be at least revisited.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think, what else? Oh, and how can we forget the election? The election, it was a crazy election. Oh, my goodness, it was a crazy election. And speaking of crazy election, have you heard about Mitt Romney? He's come out, I think within the past, well, not him, but his son came out last week.
Well, I didn't really read the articles or anything, but I read the headlines of the articles.
Yeah, I didn't read the articles, but what I gathered just from the headlines was, well, I scanned through some of them. His son was pretty much saying that Mitt Romney never wanted to run for office anyway.
Well,
I'm like,
then
what?
how did he get himself up there?
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm like, what? Was this a game to them? Was it a joke?
Well, you know, I really think it was more than a joke, and they were very serious because just from his faith and where he thought he was going to be able to rise and be put into position, you know, there was a lot of things, you know, up on that table. And when that man came out and tried to give props to Obama, he looked like somebody that was very, very hurt that he did not win.
Oh, he could be somebody that just doesn't like to lose. It doesn't necessarily mean he really, really, really wanted to be president. But a lot of people don't like to lose anything, regardless.
Yeah, but you know, I don't see him saying that he did not want to lose or anything. He was into it because, I mean, even in some of his speeches, you know, he came out talking about he couldn't wait until he was the president of the world. He went beyond the United States.
Motormouth, he only want to be president of 47%. That was the problem. Not the world. He want to be president for 47%.
Well, no. He didn't want to be president for the 40%.
That's what he said.
No, but no, he said that the 47%. Didn't count. Okay, they didn't count or something like that. He wasn't giving them credit for nothing. You know.
Speaking of mental illness, okay, but that was one thing that stuck out. But another one, on a more serious note, was mental illness, because mental illness, it doesn't seem to be that important to us as a country, and again, I'm speculating a little bit, as I think it should be. Once upon a time, we had more mental illness facilities and hospitals, and if you look around now, it's not as commonplace as it used to be. Money that used to go towards that doesn't really go toward prevention or assisting in that area. To me, it seems to be more of a profit-oriented concept to build prisons to house the mentally ill versus, focusing and dealing with prevention. And so, but when you look at the gun laws and the things that have happened, I'm not saying that all these people that have been doing these mass killings have been mentally ill, but it has brought up questions of mental illness. And I keep going back to my original question that I had a few months ago. And I guess it goes back to what you were saying too, Motormouth, about, just anybody being able to go out and buy a gun.
Yeah, but looking at mental illness and looking at the industry itself, it got to the point where
but the gun industry?
No, not the gun, but the pharmaceutical industry, which was behind a lot of the
right.
Hospitals and everything, a facility, for locking them up. They got to the point and realized that, hey, we don't need to have a staff for people who we need to treat, because they have got it to the point now where the people are self-medicating themselves. You just go to your pharmacy, you get what you need, and, they got to the point where they only give them like 30 pills a month, or whatever they need. They regulate it, then they come back, they go do their checkups and different things, and they get more.
Well, see,
so therefore,
my unprofessional opinion is that's not going to work. We are talking about people that have mental illnesses.
But you asking,
they're not going to. I don't think that it's going to be commonplace for somebody that has a true mental illness.
But you just mentioned
to just
what
go,
they do.
Oh, let me go get my medication.
Okay, but you just mentioned. Okay, but I'm just going along with what you mentioned to paint the picture.
Gonna work.
Because it's not going to work, and it's not working.
First of all,
but
a lot
you got
of them
people,
in the now, and it's
you got people now. Even with the commercial, they tell the people to tell your doctors what you need. And again, instead of the doctor telling you what you need.
And then that's also assuming that a lot of people that are mentally ill actually have health insurance and are able to go to the doctor.
But they're not worrying about that.
I get what you're saying. They don't
because
care.
the pharmaceutical companies got it set up so that if you cannot afford their high-priced medication, they got programs they can give it to you for free.
See,
and then what they do, they take that as a write-off and can use it for taxes and everything.
That's a new
because everybody's that's out there, they got these high expensive drugs, have a program that they offer for those that cannot afford it. Every once in a while, you hear a TV commercial telling you that if you cannot afford this, that, and that, we have this program, and tell your doctors what to do to enroll you.
So is that like a temporary thing? Or?
No, it's a permanent thing, because
and even if they had that, again, we are talking about people. I'm talking about people with a true mental illness.
Okay, so you're talking about people with a true mental illness. I'm talking about how they're making their money.
Okay.
And so therefore, that have a lot to do with neglecting the people that really need actual treatment.
And that's the key word I'm getting to.
Right.
Neglect.
Right. I understand what you're saying.
It does seem like the mentally ill community at large has been
neglected, overlooked.
And
then, like you said, when they get pulled in the system,
it's almost like it's either to lock them up,
right? They lock them up
and be done with it,
and then do the treatment through the lockup facility.
And I think that's just dead wrong.
And then they get double whammy.
Thank you.
Because look at how much it costs to lock up a person.
Yep.
And then look at the cost of the treatments that they giving them.
And guess what? Look at what it costs to build a prison, and guess what?
Yeah.
If it costs that much to build a prison, and we built a whole lot of them, and we're still building, then somebody must be making a profit, right?
Yeah. Well, you gotta look at
somebody's making a profit.
Well, you gotta look at the idea too.
A lot of somebodies are making profits.
Where back when the state used to control the facilities, you got now
the
private industries controlling the
prison system.
Yeah, the prison system, because the way they got it set up now.
Yeah.
So the only prison system really ran by the government probably is the federal. Because a lot of the local, state, and county have subcontracted those out. So as you're saying, that's the main time when a person who could have probably avoid the prison system if they could have went to another facility and got treatment, when they need to, be taken off the street and got some help.
Yeah, that's true.
They not getting it now.
I would just love to be alive long enough to see this country as a whole. I know I'm in La La Land, la 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 la. It ain't gonna happen. But
Well, when wasn't you in La 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 La
I would
Land?
love to. I don't live in La La Land. Oh, I'm based in reality, darling. Let's keep it real.
Okay.
Now. But just your opinion.
Not my opinion. I'm just going on your statement.
Don't let my laid-back demeanor fool you. But I'm just saying that I would love to live long enough to see this country as a whole become a country where prevention for young people, youth, children, those that are disabled, those are disadvantaged, and I don't mean people playing the game with the system, I mean people that really need assistance, where we would focus more on prevention overall. Let's deal with what's going to happen before to prevent problems versus trying to just incarcerate, lock people up, and pretend they don't exist afterwards. That's all I'm trying to say. That's why I say La La Land, I know it's not going to happen because I'm not stupid enough to know it's not all about the bottom line, money. It's about money and dollars. So it's not going to happen. But it would just be nice if we could kind of transfer some of those monetary funds back toward prevention like it used to be. Just a little bit more. We don't have to be overly greedy. We don't. We don't have to be overly greedy. And then when you look up and something crazy has happened, like the situation that happened at in Connecticut, Newtown, Connecticut occurs, and everybody's freaking out. Oh my God, they're just freaking out. And even, I don't know what happened with that young man and his mother and that situation. But when you go back to that gun thing, you're talking about buying guns and all that. Let's keep it real. This young man lived with a parent who had legally purchased her guns, okay? Legally, as far as I'm aware of, purchased her guns. And that's why I keep going back to mental assistance, mental health.
But would he really apply to that when, to what you're talking about, when he was under doctor care?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was under doctor care. He was being treated.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he wasn't. All I'm trying to get back to is the gun situation. I guess we're playing back and forth with the mental illness and the gun thing.
Mental illness, yeah.
Because this is a situation where we're two peas in a pod to look at, for lack of a better word, in this one situation. And a lot of people getting irate saying that mental illness didn't have anything to do with it. But based on what the information that was released that I remember looking at, I thought mental illness had a little bit to do with it. It had something to do with it. He didn't come across as a young man leading what I want to call normal, from lack of a better word, lifestyle. And like you said, he was under doctor's care.
Yeah, and then he wasn't from a poor home.
So, and to get back into the gun situation, there was a lot of guns in one house, all legal guns. And I guess I'm getting back to the gun situation because I keep saying, if the NRA does if the rules change and the regulations change, they can make it however they want to make it. And people are going to still have guns. They're going to always have guns, legal or not. There's going to always be lots of guns in this country. So we need to figure out a solution. And I guess it'd be nice if you have a house full of guns, at least lock them up. But let's keep it real. 21-year-old man, if he really wanted to get into the guns in your house locked up, I think he's going to find a way to get them anyway.
Well, a lot of these lock systems, you're not going to get them into them. They're locked.
They are?
Right.
See, I'm not that.
Yeah, a lot of the gun cabinets, when they locked, and everything. But not only that, though, even like that, to even have a lock on the gun itself that could no one take out the for the trigger to go. I mean, there's some guns have at least the ones I have locks on them, but but still you could get a lock put into it where you can't even put your finger around it to do anything.
So you think that a 21-year-old young man wouldn't be able to do that? I'm just asking.
Yeah, but if you got certain things put there, for safety, to stop it from firing, you can do that. But then again, you can take out the firing pin if you feel like you can't trust your children. Take out the firing pin so that if they did get the gun, it wouldn't fire no way because there's a firing pin in it. Yeah. But then the other thing too, I think could be done is the amount of ammunition ammunition can be
the ammunition that you could put in
the gun at one time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, like that. Because I think this young man has something that could hold 36 bullets.
See,
yeah, you know,
I'm
compared to like
AK,
the 5 or 6.
47 type person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you know. So as they said, these actually are magazines, as they call them, for war.
I mean, because if somebody was gonna break in your house, how many times do you need to shoot them? I mean, I don't know.
Until you replace your wall of your house, if you listen. You know, because if you see the size of bullets that they shoot and everything.
You know, I probably not want to be discussing this. Because if somebody try to break in on me, I probably would shoot till the wall will fall too.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what you would do. Somebody's really breaking in your house. I mean, think about it. If somebody's really coming in your house and you got a house full of guns, you gonna stop? Oh my Lord, I shot once. Boom, he should be dead. Oh no, you probably not gonna lose your mind. You shoot up everything until you hear a thud or something. I don't know. But I just don't think it's no. And the bad thing about the gun situation, though, to be a little bit more serious, is and I guess that goes back to why so many people lining up trying to buy these. I guess they're called the assault weapons.
Right.
That everybody was trying to purchase. They weren't going for just the boom boom bam guns, for lack of a better word.
Mm-mm.
They want the assault weapons that you could shoot. You know what? What's the term? The gun terminology here.
Right.
Round. We could shoot a couple of rounds at one time.
Yeah. Well, you know, also, you know, I feel like this here, you know, and just getting true about the gun situation. I can understand people buying guns because you don't know what's happening in this country ever since 9/11. I mean, they had tried 9/11 a couple of times before they made it successful.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you got all this terrorist stuff going on.
Yeah.
You got terrorist drills going on here in United States, you know, that's going on that they conducted this year with the Russian army. And then you start looking at things and trying to figure out, you're not for sure, your next door neighbor, or if they, you know, so you don't know when there's going to be some uprise.
And then they talking about we finna fall, or something, seeing that we're going to be shoved off some kind of fiscal cliff, and people freaking out because you have a lot of people, a lot of survivors in the United States, like, we're going to make it one way or the other.
Exactly.
And that's it. We're going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And so people see that and they freak out, for lack of a better word. So, yeah, they're in line trying to buy all the guns that they can get.
Well, but you know, I guess too, you know,
before
looking
the laws change.
Looking at this here, you know, and looking at the, you know, the mental illness of the guns and everything, I think we need to get back to the old basic and get control over our food. Because so much food now got so many chemicals in it and everything. Look how many recalls we had this past year.
Yeah, we've had a lot of crazy. Because, you know, looking back over 2012, we didn't start out wanting to talk about food all the time. It just kind of became mandatory to do so. Because every time you look up, there was some craziness going on with food.
And you are what you eat. And how many of these unbalanced people have poor nutrition going on with them, with all this chemicals and everything that they put in the food? Is this some of the side effects later on? You know, you got this 21-year-old. Is this 21 years of how you want to say?
Eating something unidentifiable, something or another they've cooked up and put in the grains and the seeds, and it ends up in your food, and it ends up in your system, and it ends up in the meat that you end up eating. It's like a big circle, and a big everything is cynical.
And the reason I say that, when we look at pharmaceuticals now, are, you know, between the food that we consuming and the pharmaceuticals, the way they recalling those also, and with their side effect, is this side effects that we seen, you know, when people go out and commit these crimes.
Possibility.
You know, right? Because I mean, you can't eat your meat, you can't eat your grains, your crops that are growing on. I mean, everything got called back, I think, in 2012.
Yeah, a lot got called back. And, you know, along the same line, you're talking about pharmaceuticals, you got me thinking about something that I've been studying, trying to get certification in, but I'm not going to get into that. I was studying about the Alzheimer's and the long-term. Well, just summarize the thing that I keep thinking about. First of all, it's not a normal part of aging. So why is it that they're predicting that the amount of people that actually have Alzheimer's within the next 15 to 30 years is going to double? I'm thinking like you're thinking more now. How can you sit back and just randomly predict, okay, unless you know something that we don't know, And it goes back to, along the lines of what you're saying. This is not a normal part of aging, and why are so many people getting it? Why is it expected to double? And how can they just so easily just throw that out there? And why are there so many extra cases of Alzheimer's?
Well, I'm going to just say like
it
this
makes
here.
You wonder if it's something that we are eating. If it's either something in our environment, something in our food, something that we're breathing. It's something going on.
Well, when I was in school and studying business management, we had things that most people don't pay attention to. But we learned to gear out, or the outlook of a company, anywhere between 60 to 120 years in the future. Right. And so therefore, as we call our short-term ratios, will cover, like maybe 5, 10, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, of planning. So therefore, when you're creating your product and everything, you got to look at, project what the people need is going to be, or how you're going to have your people or your clientele, still with you. And to me, with these pharmaceuticals, the hospitals and all of this, they just have it, ready, because they got the drug ready.
Yeah, they do.
For to treat the people that they already predict what's going to have.
They have drugs to treat all these people with Alzheimer's, and the ones that they're predicting is going to double or triple.
They got the stuff ready.
But they don't have a cure for it.
They're not looking for a cure.
I kind of think the same thing, because somebody, again, is getting paid.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting paid.
Right, because it's all about money.
About money.
And everything. And one of the things in dealing with the federal government, when I was working with them, that we really realized real quickly, it's called the Band-Aid theory. You don't want to fix nothing, okay? Because if you fix it, then that means the industry is going to die that we've been servicing it. So what you want to do is put a Band-Aid on it. And then when it get wet, it would come back off.
You just want to put a Band-Aid on, let it leak out a little bit.
Yeah, once you
don't want to solve the problem. You just want to kind of patch it a little bit.
Patch it a little bit and go on. And that's the same with the idea of drugs, all kinds of drugs, street drugs, pharmaceutical drugs, crime, and different things like that, because they got the statistics that they be taking every year and analyze and seeing what's going down, this, that, and that. And now that they don't put it on Wall Street, so much is going on now that is not being answered to the general public, or the general public is not being shared that information about what's going on. So we can look at, much more coming down the line, since the baby boomers is being targeted.
Yeah, they are, pretty much.
Yeah.
They're being targeted.
Yeah.
And then it's a large population.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, buddy.
And just imagine what's going to happen to their children that's not of the baby boomers, because these people are going to be so used to making this money that they getting ready to make off the baby boomers, already. Just like the other day, I think you was telling me you was in the store and you found toothpaste for people over 50.
Yeah, because I was studying my gerontology classes, and I actually started looking around and everything. I'm like, oh my God, there's a huge market, products just for people in a certain age group, because they're trying to get ready for the boom to happen.
Yeah,
it's already booming. It's getting ready to explode.
Yeah. And so you don't know what this planet is going to be like, in a few years down, because already just the other day in my email box, I got a ticket to go ahead into space, To visit another planet.
You're going to go.
Yeah.
You're going to go.
I'm just saying, are they trying to tell us something that we don't know? Yeah, but, already, how they done leaked out, okay, life is on Mars, we done found water on the moon, but 20 years ago, 30 or 40 years ago, no such thing, could even exist. Like, it's dead, the planet dead, and there's no water enough. But all of a sudden, with these new probes and everything they send, and they got water and different things. But now it's just like taking, into consideration that they said,
You know them people to that water.
You know, the aliens, you know, the extraterrestrials who have visited here before.
Motor mouth. You know they took that water there and left it. That's all
you
that
know,
is.
the extraterrestrials.
They ain't found no water. That's the
visited
water
here
that Armstrong then left
know,
earlier.
Are they now trying to tell you that they were, you know, they was visited, but now we ready to go back those paths because we contaminated this planet.
They say we got to get on up out of here. Yeah, we
Exactly.
visited. We saw this is not where we want to be. Y'all got some issues on Earth.
So if you don't have a couple 100 million, you can't take the trip.
You know, it's bad when some aliens come down and say, we ain't staying here. You know, that's kind of deep. Again, are we too stupid to get the message of what we're doing with the only planet that we can probably breathe on at the moment? As far as we don't. We messing up our own, we killing ourselves.
But you said you said a real good word, that we know.
Oh Lord, okay? Here we go. I shouldn't have
that
said
we know. Because I mean, because we really don't know. You know, we just at the mercy of those that's trying to make decisions for us that's supposed to be doing job in D.C. But I mean, you know, I always looked at it kind of crazy. I see, you know, Albert Einstein. I think he was the one that made the atomic bomb, right? Now, if anybody had any mental illnesses or anything that should have been locked up, that's the man that should have been locked up. Because he made a weapon that killed so many. That was a mass weapon of destruction. And it seemed like if you could make a weapon of destruction, instead of looking at you being a killer or a murderer or anything, they give you medals and honors and everything.
Yeah, because, you know, during that time, mental illness wasn't even, you know, I don't want to say fully developed, but the study and the science of it wasn't as advanced as it is now. And lots of people had mental illnesses that were great, smart, intelligent people that have given, you know, all kinds of cool things, for lack of a better word, to us as a society, but they didn't really understand mental illness. So,
well, I guess when I say Einstein, you know,
that man was too smart.
You know, I wasn't just looking at him, but that whole group of them that was looking for something that dangerous. You know, like I said, because he wasn't the only one on the route for a weapon of mass destruction. You know, they was doing that all over the world, certain scientists and everything. But I'm just saying, you know, then, you know, to me, they have done more harm to society than the man who's just picking up a gun and shooting someone. You know, but again, as we say, you know, since the beginning of time, they've been trying to conquer one another. That we know of time, at least on this planet.
It's a power struggle. Everything, as far as I'm concerned, everything on this planet is about absorbing power. That's just how I look at life. Maybe I am strange, probably am, but everything's a power struggle.
Well,
control, power and control.
When you look at life in general, it's nothing but power. It's about energy.
Control.
Energy. I mean, just like when you get up in the morning, if you don't have the energy to get out of the bed, you're no good. So, like you said, it's all about power, energy.
Yeah.
It just come in different forms.
Yeah. Oh, well, now that we solved all the world's problems. Every problem under the sun we have resolved for you lovely folks.
Well, 2012 was the year.
Yes, it was the year it was an interesting year as far as, you know, not just things that happen in general, but some biggies for lack of like I never thought that I would see gay marriage just being approved. I never thought I would see a time where marijuana would be legal to own in any capacity in the United States, in any state in the United States. You know, it's just been an interesting vibe, an interesting ride, and who knows, 2013 is probably going to be even a little bit more interesting.
But you know, the thing that got me though about the marijuana is they made a big issue about Washington and Colorado, you know, everything. But in California, they've been selling it for years. So what makes South California so much different that they had the head shops that you could go in and get your bud, you know?
I wouldn't know about that, Motor.
Yeah, you know, because they've been doing that for years. I think especially in like San Francisco and different places.
I have gone to California, but I have not seen any head shops.
Yeah, and then Then in Ohio, they got a thing called the Ohio bag.
But is it legal to sell out in the open on the same level that they set up Colorado and Washington State?
Well, I don't know if they really got those set up yet, but in California, they've been doing that for quite some time.
And I knew they were doing medical marijuana.
I don't know if they selling it, for a medical reason or what, but I know like that, because even with the stuff in Colorado and Washington, even if the states say you can do it, it's still illegal.
Okay, now let's go back and clarify the marijuana law. From what I recall, I hadn't looked at it or read anything about it in a while, but from what I recall, it's not about selling it. It's about being able to use it in your home. It's not. They're not saying that you can walk up.
But
and
it's
down
still
the
illegal
street.
though. But reason why it's illegal is federally.
It's still illegal on the federal level.
Right.
But the state has said
that you can do
within the confines of the privacy of your own domicile.
Yeah.
You can. I'm not trying to keep up with all the details, but it's a certain amount that you can legally have. And smoke in the privacy of your home.
I'm saying that,
before it was like, I don't care what anybody had before, it was illegal. Period. Case closed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now not for medical purposes, for your own recreational use. As far as being a first, anyway.
Well, I know I don't know all the stuff about Ohio, but I know Ohio for about 20 or 30 years had a thing called Ohio bag.
Ohio bag.
Yeah, and if you got caught with it, if you got in trouble, you just pay a misdemeanor fine for it. But they allow you to have that, and that was almost about an ounce of marijuana that they would allow you to have. I think it was 112 grams.
I have no idea, Mona.
Yeah, but I'm just finding it, interesting. But like you said, there's new rules and laws and regulations that's coming down.
Yeah. This is true.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new world.
Yeah.
On one level, even though we didn't get blown up, it could have just been a symbolic gesture saying that everything on this planet is going to shift from what we know.
Mm-hmm. Or they're just trying to get their things in way, because I always say, to me, about the Mayans and all that, I always say those people never know, because they have not allowed the indigenous people to speak out what the language and what their custom really is about. Here you got Europeans trying to tell them what's going on with their own culture, and to me it's just another way of robbing them of their wealth, their wisdom and knowledge and culture, Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, none of the Mayans survived that I'm aware of, and that's another thing we don't know. All we know is what we can gather and from excavating and just researching, but we don't really know.
Well, it was always, to me, given to me, the Mayans was time travelers. We have certain people that lived upon this planet at one time that are supposed to have been time travelers and everything. And, and it kind of, when you really get into the science of stuff and look at all the telescopes and everything that they have down in Mexico, Central America, and South America, and part of the United States, it makes you wonder, because they out there trying to track our radioactivity.
I don't wonder at all. I'm not wondering anything.
But when you look at certain science that's going on, and where they taking their space exploration and getting it from.
I don't want to know.
So it's interesting.
We have messed up the planet we're on enough. I think we should leave space travel alone. Okay. What, we got to mess up the whole universe?
Well, you don't know.
You're right.
You don't know.
But I do know one thing.
And we do know we have air and oxygen on this planet for a reason.
True. I don't know, but I do know it's time for us to wrap up the show. I do know that.
Yep. And it will end it for 2012. And we thank you for being around.
And I do know that I have enjoyed the comments that I received back on YouTube. Especially, I'm going to do a quick shout out. This fella wrote me the longest encyclopedia version of the Mormon faith that I still find fascinating. Don't get me wrong, if you're listening, I don't agree with your beliefs. I'm sorry, it's a personal choice, but it was interesting, and I appreciate your point of view, because it was a nice, intelligently written letter. It wasn't coming from a crazy place, an angry place. It was just his point of view, and I appreciate you taking the time to elaborate on it. It was interesting. But anyway, anybody that's listening, we appreciate you guys. We appreciate our listeners in North Carolina, WEOM, the guys that tune in on YouTube, and the guys that hear us online. We appreciate you, like Motormouth said. And we're going to get ready to wrap up 2012 and sign off. Motormouth, you got anything you want to throw out there for the day?
Just Happy New Year's to everybody in 2013.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Peace and grace.
The Kaye Dee and Motormouth radio show on top of the world. On WEOM 103.1 FM, Thomasville, North Carolina. The Kaye Dee and Motormouth radio show on top of the world on WEOM 103.1 FM.
Hello, this is Motormouth with the Kaye Dee and the Motormouth radio show that air on WEOM 103.1 FM, Thomasville, North Carolina, and on RadioDNANetwork.com. We are starting our new community outreach directory that focuses on children and their families. If you provide services for youth and their families, email us at KDandMotormouth@RadioDNA Network, or feel free to tweet us at twitter.com/KD_radio and learn how you can start your free 30-day trial.
You're listening to Thomasville, North Carolina's best gospel station, WEOM 103.1 FM.